There are moments in history when a single message forces the world to pause, to reflect, and to rethink everything it believed to be true. Today is one of those moments. Two of the most influential voices on the global stage have spoken, clarifying, challenging, and awakening the world, with words that carry a weight impossible to ignore. What they revealed, and the courage with which they revealed it, has sent shockwaves through governments, media circles, and most importantly, the hearts of millions across the Muslim world. This is not just another political statement. This is a turning point, a message that demands to be heard, understood, and remembered. As you listen to this speech, allow yourself to step beyond headlines and narratives, to witness the truth with new eyes. Every line you're about to hear carries a deeper meaning, a call for justice, unity, and respect that the world has long needed. Stay with this message until the very end, because its impact grows stronger with every passing moment, and the insight it offers has the power to reshape the way we see one another and the world we share. A call for global unity and respect carries a weight far deeper than diplomatic courtesy. It reflects a moral responsibility that transcends borders, politics, and cultural differences. In the context of the message delivered by Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, this call becomes even more significant because it recognizes the fractures that the modern world continues to experience. Misunderstandings between nations, rising tensions among faith communities, and a growing divide fueled by misinformation. Their emphasis on unity is not merely symbolic. It is a reminder that humanity's progress has always depended on cooperation rather than confrontation. When they speak of respect for the Muslim world, they are addressing centuries of contributions, intellectual achievements, social values, and spiritual teachings that have shaped global civilization. This acknowledgement serves as an invitation for nations and individuals to look beyond stereotypes and engage with Muslims as partners in the shared mission of building a peaceful world. Their message underscores that unity begins with recognizing the dignity of every human being, regardless of faith. It rejects the notion that any community should live under suspicion or face discrimination based on identity. The call for respect is, therefore, a call for justice, fairness, and empathy, principles without which peace cannot be sustained. At a time when global narratives often divide societies along religious lines, such a message encourages a return to fundamental human values. It urges the world to acknowledge the pain of oppressed Muslim communities, to stand against hatred, and to foster an environment where different cultures coexist without fear. This vision of unity is not passive. It requires active participation, honest dialogue, and the courage to challenge prejudice wherever it appears. Through this perspective, their words serve as a beacon, encouraging nations to rise above political biases and embrace a future rooted in mutual understanding and respect. Recognition of Muslim contributions is far more than offering praise. It is an acknowledgement of a legacy that has shaped the foundations of the modern world. When influential leaders highlight the achievements of Muslim civilizations, they are drawing attention to a history rich with scientific innovation, philosophical depth, artistic brilliance, and moral wisdom. This recognition challenges the narrow narratives that often overshadow the true impact of Muslims on global progress. From groundbreaking scientific advancements during the golden age of Islam to timeless contributions in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, architecture, and literature, the Muslim world has played a central role in humanity's collective advancement. By bringing these accomplishments to the forefront, Biden and Sanders remind the global community that respect must be rooted not only in present-day coexistence, but also in an honest appreciation of the past. The message also acknowledges the values that Muslim societies continue to embody: hospitality, charity, community welfare, devotion, and a profound commitment to justice. These principles have strengthened countless communities across continents and continue to inspire people beyond cultural boundaries. Recognizing Such contributions helps dismantle negative stereotypes and encourages a more informed understanding of Muslims as an integral part of global human fabric. It opens the door to more balanced dialogue, where Muslims are not seen solely through the lens of conflict or political issues, but as contributors, leaders, thinkers, innovators. Furthermore, the leader's acknowledgement carries a symbolic power that can shift global attitudes. It encourages educators to teach more inclusive history, inspires media to present more accurate representation, and urges individuals to reassess their perceptions. This recognition becomes a bridge between the past and the present, showing that mutual respect grows when societies celebrate each other's strengths. In doing so, their message strengthens the idea that cooperation and appreciation are essential for building a future where every community, including Muslims, is valued and understood. Strong advocacy for justice forms the core of their message, carrying a resonance that reaches far beyond political rhetoric. When leaders emphasize justice for Muslim communities, they are acknowledging the harsh realities many face, whether in the form of discrimination, unjust conflict, marginalization, or distorted portrayals in global narratives. Their statement becomes a moral stance, asserting that no community should live under oppression or fear, and that fairness must be applied universally, not selectively. This advocacy challenges the world to examine how systems of power have often failed Muslims, whether through biased policies, unequal treatment, or silence in moments when their voices most needed to be heard. It reflects an understanding that justice is not merely a principle written into constitutions. It is a promise that must be upheld through action, courage, and accountability. Their commitment to justice also speaks to the fundamental right of every Muslim, indeed, every human being, to live with dignity. By raising their voice on this issue, they highlight the importance of confronting prejudice and rejecting narratives that criminalize or generalize entire populations. This stance encourages societies to question harmful assumptions and to replace them with empathy and truth. It reinforces the idea that justice cannot be achieved by ignoring the suffering of innocent people or by turning a blind eye to their struggles. Instead, it demands that leaders, institutions, and individuals take responsibility for creating environments where fairness prevails. Additionally, their advocacy provides hope to millions who have long felt unseen. It signals that their pain is recognized, their humanity is valued, and their rights matter. Such a message has the potential to inspire global change, encouraging nations to reform policies, strengthen human rights protections, and stand decisively against oppression. In this way, their words become more than a political statement. They become a call to conscience, urging the world to uphold justice as a universal and unwavering principle. Dialogue between civilizations represents one of the most powerful tools for achieving global harmony, and in their message, this idea is presented as both a necessity and a responsibility. When leaders speak of dialogue, they are advocating for conversations that transcend cultural, religious, and national boundaries. Conversations grounded in honesty, respect, and the willingness to understand rather than judge. This emphasis arises from the recognition that many of the world's conflicts stem from misunderstanding, fear, or isolation between different communities. For the Muslim world, this call holds special importance, as it challenges the widening gap created by stereotypes, political tensions, and misrepresentation. Their message encourages nations to engage sincerely with Muslim societies, not as distant observers, but as partners in shaping a just and peaceful future. Dialogue is more than exchanging words. It is about bridging emotional and intellectual divides. It requires acknowledging historical grievances, listening to shared concerns, and finding common values that bind humanity together. Their stance invites the world to recognize that Muslims belong at the table of global discussions, and that their voices, experiences, and perspectives contribute meaningfully to solutions for modern challenges. By promoting dialogue, they are rejecting isolationist thinking and emphasizing that peace cannot flourish where divisions are allowed to deepen unchecked. This approach also encourages self-reflection among nations and individuals. It urges people to question preconceived notions, engage with unfamiliar cultures, and appreciate the richness of diversity rather than fear it. The call for dialogue creates space for reconciliation and healing, especially in regions where conflict or mistrust has persisted for generations. It opens pathways for cooperation in education, science, humanitarian efforts, and peace-building. Ultimately, their message reinforces that the world's stability depends on the ability of civilizations to speak to one another with openness and humility, building understanding that strengthens the fabric of global unity. Peaceful coexistence is not merely an idealistic vision, it is a practical necessity for a world interconnected as ours. When leaders emphasize the importance of ensuring that every community, including Muslims, is treated with honor, safety, and rights, they are speaking to a universal truth. No society can thrive in an atmosphere of fear or discrimination. Their message reflects a deep awareness of the tensions and divisions that have emerged globally, often fueled by misinformation, prejudice, and political agendas. By calling for peaceful coexistence, they remind the world that true stability comes from recognizing the inherent worth of every individual and embracing the diversity that shapes the human story. This keynote underscores that peace is not a passive condition, but an active effort. It requires deliberate choices, choosing understanding over suspicion, compassion over hostility, and justice over inequality. For the Muslim world, this call carries profound significance, especially at a time when many Muslim communities face challenges ranging from surveillance and stereotyping to conflict and displacement. Their message acknowledges these realities and insists that coexistence must involve more than tolerance. It must involve respect, protection, and genuine acceptance. Only when Muslims feel secure in their identity and their rights are upheld can true peace be sustained. The idea of coexistence also highlights the interdependence of modern societies. Economies, cultures, technologies, and ideas flow across borders, making collaboration essential. Their message encourages nations to recognize that excluding or marginalizing any community weakens the global fabric. Instead, embracing diversity strengthens resilience, fosters innovation, and enriches shared human experience. By advocating peaceful coexistence, they promote a world where differences are not threats but bridges that connect hearts, broaden perspectives, and create a climate where every person, regardless of faith, can live with dignity and hope. A wake-up call to world leaders carries a sense of urgency that cannot be softened or ignored, and in their message this urgency is unmistakable. When prominent figures highlight the responsibility of global leadership to all Muslim societies, they are not simply offering commentary, they are confronting a long-standing pattern where powerful nations often overlook the struggles, fears, and rights of millions. Their message serves as a reminder that leadership is not measured by wealth, military strength, or political influence alone, but by the moral courage to protect the vulnerable and to uphold justice even when it is inconvenient. This wake-up call challenges leaders to move beyond symbolic gestures and take meaningful steps to address oppression, conflict, and inequality affecting Muslim communities worldwide. It also reflects the reality that the world is at a crossroads. Silence in the face of injustice has allowed conflicts to deepen, misinformation to spread, and divisions to widen. The statement urges leaders to acknowledge these failures and to act with integrity, compassion, and fairness. It calls for policies grounded in humanity rather than political gain. for foreign relations built on respect rather than dominance, and for a global environment where Muslim voices are valued rather than ignored. This demand for accountability is not directed at one nation, but at all those who hold influence and power. Their wake-up call further emphasizes that the future depends on the choices made today. If leaders continue to overlook the plight of marginalized Muslim populations, the consequences will not remain confined to borders. Instability, mistrust, and resentment will inevitably spread. Conversely, if leaders choose empathy, justice, and cooperation, they can help create a world where dignity is universal and peace becomes attainable. By delivering this message, they remind the global community that leadership is ultimately a moral duty, one that requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to stand on the side of humanity. In the end, this message stands as a reminder that the world is shaped not only by the decisions of leaders, but by the collective conscience of humanity. The words we reflect upon today challenge us to rise above division, to confront injustice wherever it exists, and to embrace the understanding that every community, especially the Muslim world, deserves dignity, respect, and peace. The call for unity, recognition, dialogue, justice, and coexistence is not a distant dream. It is a responsibility that rests upon every nation and every individual. If we choose the path of empathy and truth, we shape a future where differences are not sources of conflict, but pillars of shared strength. This moment invites us all to listen more deeply, act more fairly, and walk forward with a renewed commitment to harmony among civilizations. Let these words not fade into the noise of the world, but become a guiding light for those who believe in a future built on mutual respect and human worth. Thank you for allowing this message to be expressed with clarity and purpose. May your work carry wisdom, may your voice inspire understanding, and may your efforts continue to bring people closer to truth and unity. Wishing you strength, clarity, and great success in everything ahead.